What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Thursday, everybody. Okay, so Age of Disclosure has made me think a lot about what the film actually is and what it really represents. And I don't know if you guys agree, but there is a certain feeling of rush that comes with that movie. And in general, with almost every single person from the US government who's either military or part of the intelligence community, they always give you this weird sensation that they know something they can't tell you, but they want for the people to agree on the disclosure they want. But they can't tell you why. And that is very frustrating, which brings me to the topic today. As you guys know, this channel, one of the first scoops or exclusives that I released was about those alleged unclassified briefings that were talking about some sort of event that was going to happen. The main rumor was about this alleged object that I still think that is absolutely not true. I think that it was a misinformation tactic, but let's explore that a little bit because some sort of an event or something happening in the future goes back to biblical times. There's always a prophecy or a prediction that something is going to happen. Nostradamus is uh, considered a predictor of things. I don't think he was a prophet, but you can predict a lot of things if you have a high level of intuition. And over time, throughout history, there have been a lot of different people that became famous because of that. But when it comes to this specific topic, there's always been information or misinformation, I don't know which is which, of something that will happen eventually. And if you have been paying attention in UFO world, there's always people talking about this. And my good friend Matt from the Lucid Lens just put out a really cool documentary, you could call it, because it's sort of like a documentary called The Real UFO Disclosure Secret Space Programs, the 2027 event. And he put together a compilation of some of the people that have talked about some sort of an event or something that will happen or a prediction. But there's always something that will happen according to these people. And I don't know if history has proven that that doesn't work. I think it has, but there are many signs that are unsettling, you could say. So let me show you this little edit of some of the people that have spoken about something that is supposedly going to happen.
Your knowledge on this topic do you think you have revealed so far?
Probably 5, maybe 8% of what I know I've been able to discuss.
So there needs to be a campaign plan to synchronize all this, a benchmark-driven process with specified occurrences and timeframes.
But each year, it goes higher and higher. There's more and more and more percentage.
Even with that, we're kind of preparing the U.S. population, at least, and the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027.
Forget all that nonsense. It's nothing to fear that people have been led to believe. Your government has everything under control.
In April of 26, there would be an alignment. And when that happens, it would mark a shift into a new knowledge, not an apocalypse.
Well, is something coming that we don't know about? There's a huge consciousness shift that everybody's psychic. Like, what are you saying?
No, I'm not saying anything.
So there's that. And yeah, it's always mixed messages. I mean, clearly after yesterday, even though, and let me make this abundantly clear, even though Corbell and Knapp did speak, and also Joe Murgia and Danny Silva and Ryan Robbins did speak about the inconsistencies that existed in Age of Disclosure, they praised the movie and they asked people to watch it because I agree with them. It's putting the word out in a way that has only been done like 2 or 3 times over the last 10 years. And people are not stupid. I mean, you can get into the topic, as for example I did, under certain preconceived notions that of what's going on, right? And if you're smart enough to look for yourself, it doesn't matter the way you got into the topic. It matters what you investigate when you're looking into it. And that's how you find out most of what could be going on. Reading books, read documents, all kinds of things that you can do. But the important part is to get that hook that can get people interested. And I think Age of Disclosure did just that, I think. It's already #1 on Amazon overall, both rentals and purchases, which is huge. But I did notice that there seems to be a camp of people who are like more bullish about controlled government disclosure. The government is not going to tell you everything. That is not realistic. You got to put that through your head. If you think that's going to happen, you're just not analyzing the situation properly, I think. But it is important to get some sort of an announcement. Yeah. So I've noticed these two camps, right? That one that is more controlled, and the other one that seems to be a conduit to the people, really, and to whistleblowers who have risked everything. And these two camps, based on the people that I've spoken to, out of both camps, I've spoken to people, there seems to be this underlying like silence when it comes to this stuff. Like there's something coming, something's going to happen. There's a select number of people within those groups from both sides that seem to think that something is possible, but they don't want to talk about why or what it is. And that is really frustrating. That is one of the main problems with this whole rumor that is taking place, because for some reason, the fact that they're denying talking about it means that if they do know, but they feel somebody else has the right to talk about it when they want, and to not let the people know what is happening, especially if it's something like really big that is inevitable or something like that. You can at least give people a heads up. I don't know. Matt from the Lucid Lens, I do like his take more than whatever event could happen or not. Because for me, none of this shit matters. Like, no disclosure matters if we don't realize that what we can bring to the table. And for me, the real disclosure is discovering what humans as a species are capable of. And I honestly believe that that is the real, like, actual secret, you know? But there are many mysteries surrounding that, because psi abilities have historically been suppressed by the powers that be all the time. Pharmacology combinations have been erased completely. Any type of recipe that has existed throughout history that may have a different effect in the human brain that wasn't beneficial for the powers that be was erased or burned to the ground. And that's a major problem, because if we keep burying history like that, we're just going to maintain this chaos that is all around the world. And for me, that should be the disclosure. I mean, non-human intelligence is not really that relevant if we know where we come from, if we know what we can do. That's the way I feel. But there is also the underlying and never-ending inconsistencies and weird things that happen with governments, with billionaires, with people who like seem to have a lot of power and access to a certain knowledge, and some of their actions describe what they are finding out behind the scenes that they're not telling the public. I don't know if you guys remember this clip recently from Matthew Brown, who can depict the situation really well. And that final line, I think, is very descriptive of this. There's knowledge that people with power seem to have, and they won't tell the rest of the people. So do you guys remember this one?
I think it was, I don't even know his time. Everyone last week was saying disclosure was dead. Carl Nell hopped on a call, forget where,
Yeah.
and said this cycle of disclosure is over, basically. Pack your bags, and we're going to figure out what's next. And to that I say, I didn't hear no bell. This doesn't stop.
No.
I made my choice. I drew my line in the sand, and I chose my team just because things are uncomfortable for certain segments. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
What is dead is deep state disclosure. What is going to live is citizen-led disclosure. And
experiencers too.
well, citizens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Experiencers, absolutely a big part of that.
Yeah.
But deep state
Yeah.
disclosure is dead. Don't want any more of that. They can go have their billionaire book clubs, have tea, and pretend that the world is getting better as it collapses around them, and then they can fuck off to their bunkers.
Based on that final phrase that Matthew spoke, I don't know if you guys are aware of UP GERB's work on dumps. So why are both billionaires and government entities building underground facilities? You know, so that's the main concern for me. That there's a lot of misinformation about this alleged incoming event, but we can't ignore the actions that are taking place from governments and from people with power. Clearly, they know something that they're not telling people. And I don't know why this is happening right in front of our eyes and nobody's batting an eye at all. Like, why do people like Peter Thiel have a bunker in New Zealand, for example? Why is the United States of America filled with underground facilities in many parts of the country? Watch GERB's material. He has a lot of information about that. Why are they doing that? What the fuck do they know that they're not telling people? And that is what is unsettling to me, because Age of Disclosure seems to be a film that, yes, is going to grab attention of everybody, or a lot of people at least, and they're going to start thinking about UFOs. But there also seems to be this sense of urgency. And I just want to know why that is. If it's just either just misinformation in order to proliferate weapons, it could be really anything. And for me, I think that the important part for us to worry about is to reach that level of awareness that can make us enough curious to start asking the right questions to the powers that be. Because as citizens, that should be our job. The people with power, and especially the ones who serve in government, should remember that they're supposed to serve their people, not the military industrial complex, and not the elites, the people. Now I'm going to show you this, which is Jeremy Corbell addressing the Three Eye Atlas news, and that's another one that I've considered partly misinformation. Although Three Eye Atlas seems to be a really cool comet, and I love that. But there's been a lot of misinformation about it, and that's the issue that we're talking about. It's that there's just too many stories about something that may or may not happen. Everybody has their own version of it, and it just depends on what you want to hear or what you really want as a consumer of this content. Because there are people who seem to be a little bit obsessed with this idea of some kind of event that that may or may not happen in the future. But it almost feels pathological. Right now, I stand on the camp that these nuggets of misinformation, because I think that's what they are used to distract people from something else, or from the real issues and the real stuff that we should focus on. As I told you, for me, it's reaching gnosis, reaching that level of awareness. And then we can start talking about the other things. But I just leave you with this from Jeremy Corbell, because it's important what he revealed here about this alleged event and the 3-Eye Atlas stuff, because this is also happening.
Everybody's asking what my opinion is on the 3-Eye Atlas, object coming to Earth. Now, I'm not an astronomer. I'm not a scientist, but why they're asking me is because I made a statement back in January saying that, hey, there's a lie coming. And of course, it was part of a show, and it was just but if you watch the whole show, you kind of understand what's going on. And I've made a ton of statements about why I would say something like that. I'm not hiding and just saying it. I've explained to people why multiple times, but people are asking about that. Now, I don't know anything about that particular comment. I read the same stuff as everybody else. The trend I'm realizing, our friend in the disclosure movement, Avi Loeb, he talks about these unique characteristics, and he's not wrong about that, but it is a consensus of one. I don't see a bunch of other astrophysicists and people working on this stuff really echoing that same sentiment. I do love his open-mindedness, and he knows far better than me, and he's investigating the unexplained, not explaining the uninvestigated. So I've got a lot of happiness and joy for the way that he's looking at this problem set. But I will stand firm in that I said in January, and I actually said it earlier, but it was, I think it was played in January, that there was something coming, that people were going to try to convince the public at large that there was a spacecraft slowly moving to Earth. And that didn't come out of thin air. That wasn't just something I made up before I sat down. That came from years of people trying to impose upon me something to use my mouth, that there was this threat coming, that there's a 1970s document that I believe to be classified for sure. And, I don't have the ability to get that out to people, but it postulated this. So there were so many warning signs that this was going to happen. I finally said the quiet part out loud. Intelligence agents from multiple agencies durationally over years would call me and slowly edge at me with this theory and this idea to try to get me to say it. And it felt so manipulative, I had to call it out. So that is specifically why I said it, because I felt that pressure over time. I know you've been told, oh, there are these hints of big things coming. Well, if it is, fucking say it. If it is, then you have a duty to say it. But no one's standing up and raising their hand.
That part where Jeremy says fucking say it, that's exactly how I react to this. It's like, and these people from parts of the government who seem to be in the know of this, you ask them and they go like, I know what it is, but I'm not saying anything. And there's a bunch of them. Why can't you say it? Is it tied to this government effort from you that is taking place right now? Carl Nell has his slides. Louis Elizondo has this video from last year.
Now, there have been some significant rumors of events regarding UAP that may occur within, 10 years or so. I don't know if it's something coming or a natural disaster. You hear of something big coming down the pike. Have you heard of these claims? And if so, do you have any idea what it may be?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes, I'm aware of them, and I'm not able to have that conversation.
Got it.
It's not my conversation to have, but I am aware of it.
I mean, why not? Who gives people the right to have a conversation like that, or to have the power over information like that? I just don't get it. And this is what frustrates me. And this, I think, why Corbell is saying, fucking say it. What is it? Spit it out. And it's frustrating. I'm just saying. I don't know what you guys think. What could it be? If there's something that may or may not happen, could it be that we are going to evolve in terms of consciousness? Could it be just disinformation for weapon manufacturing? Could it be a new geophysical event, something with the sun, earthquakes, volcanoes, or it could also be AI? Because we seem to be approaching a certain point with AI, and that should also concern people, I think. I don't know what the ramifications will be, but yeah, they should. So what do you think it is? But that's the main problem, that we can't seem to get that information out of those people that seem to know it, maybe because it's not true, or I don't know. And this topic, whatever it is, if there is something that is maybe real or not, it loses a lot of credibility and people just lose their attention. And if there is something that might happen or not, I think people should be aware of it. They shouldn't be kept in the dark. That's fucked up. But I don't know what you guys feel about it. Give me another option besides the ones that I gave you just now, and let me know in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, hype, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most. So thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated. So thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Matt from the Lucid Lens. Always. I'm going to leave that excellent video in the description, by the way. Bye.